Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV from La Token. So today we're going to discuss about a new topic in this episode of Asia episode of VCTV. I would say it's about SaaS, software as a service, investments around it, startups, and everything else. So yes, welcome back, and I'm very excited to have you all back on the show. Yes, fantastic. So we've got the speakers now. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the Regional Director of La Token, and I host VCTV in Asia time zones. For those who are new to Asia episode of VCTV, for you to know, I've been moderating shows since last year because of the pandemic. Yes, that's me. That's VCTV. I'd like to know more about the speakers today. We've got somebody new, which is new to VCTV Asia, the Singapore time, who just joined us for the first time. We'd like to take a quick round of intro and background about him today. Hi, Jason. Welcome to VCTV Asia. Let's have a quick round of intro and background about yourself.
Great. Thank you for having me, Sunny, and La Token as well. My name is Jason Jacobson, Managing Partner with Propellant Ventures. We are a seed stage venture capital firm based in the U.S., in Chicago specifically. We're focused on investing in the middle region of the U.S. in pre-seed and early seed opportunities in B2B industries such as healthcare, future work, fintech, edtech, and supply chain. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Welcome, Jason. It's going to be a great episode today. Okay, next I have Vandana. Hi, Vandana. Welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Sunny. And I'm rocking as usual. Thank you for having me here. And lovely to see, you always, with energetic and this, bubbly moderator that we have since very, very long. Where do you get this energy from? I should be asking you.
Yeah, this is something, Vandana. It's not about my energies. I also have, Gary would agree, like you also have downtimes. But I think I get excited whenever I'm on VCTV. I think Gary would agree. We have this common thing between us is VCTV platform because we meet so many people. I catch up with you. I get to catch up with you, Vandana. Otherwise, it's, on WhatsApp, we never speak that much that we speak on VCTV, right, Harsh? This actually gives me a kick.
Yeah. So I just hope you always be like this, always smiling and happy and healthy. And nice to see Gary, Harsh, and Jason here. I'll quickly introduce myself. I was in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years in investment banking. I had my own family office fund. This is my 7th year back in India. I did a lot of investments. Then I went back to advisory. And currently, I'm connected with 300 investors globally, and I do pick up global deals. And happy to be here at VCTV.
Thank you, and Vandana, welcome back. And it's always a pleasure to have you on our shows equally.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Next, I have Gary. Hi, Gary. Good morning.
Good morning.
Before.
Good to see you. Great to be here for Family Hour.
Yes, exactly. Family Hour.
My name is Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've done 17 companies, been involved in 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team at Click Software, an Israeli company brought to the U.S., Campbell, California. I did an IPO, sold to Salesforce 27 months ago for $1.35 billion. Also on the original management team of Eva. Eva is an AI HR tech company that I co-founded 5 years ago with David Yang. It's one of the top 10 AI HR tech companies. Love artificial intelligence and quantum. I'm the CEO, president, co-founder of GST, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio.
Excellent. And Gary, welcome to VCTV family again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Harsh, how are you? Welcome back.
Hey, Sony, glad to be back in front of my global family here. So,
Yes.
Getting the chance to interact with people from Singapore, US, all across the world, right? Gary,
Yeah.
Vanna, you, and Jason for the first time as well. Hi. So, a short background about myself. My name is Harsh Etia. I'm a venture partner with our ventures and the founder for Startup Hackers. Startup Hackers is a community for early stage startup founders kind of help them grow their business, help them raise funds. Essentially, we help them raise all the way up to $10 million, right from seed stage to $10 million, and we are completely sector agnostic: fintech, health tech, marketing tech, SaaS, EV, etc., helping all kinds of startups. And currently, I'm actually working with Gary, helping him launch his accelerator in India, and Vandana is a part of that event as well. So looking forward for a kick-ass event then.
Wow, that's what I love about it. You're making partnerships, collaborations on VCTV. Things are really happening for true. This is exciting. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
We'd like to know more about that accelerator once it goes live, and we'll see how can we take part as well, like be a part of that as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great. So we're all set with a round of introductions of our speakers. Let's just hit on the topic today. Software as a service, SaaS. What is SaaS? Why has it become so popular over the years? I'm gonna start with Jason. Jason, what's a SaaS company, and why is it so popular?
Sure. Well, it's a business model, and it allows you to access software on the web or online where you don't have to download anything. There's constant updates. You're never out of date with the software. You can access it either through your phone or through a tablet or your computer, and you pay a monthly subscription fee. So businesses actually make more money over time by charging a monthly subscription fee versus a one-time fee. So it's actually a really good business model. The margins are also really good with SaaS businesses. So it's taken a long time for it to take off. I mean, Salesforce is one of the first big ones that started, where people weren't quite sure about the business model, but now almost any business that has a software solution most likely should have a SaaS model, or at least be thinking about it if they're not right now. So it's here to stay, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So how old is this model? Because I think Netflix is SaaS based, right? It's a software. It's a platform where we pay subscription fee every month, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would look at Salesforce as one of the first ones. So however old Salesforce is, maybe 20 years, possibly. It's been around for a while. I mean, there are VCs that, a while ago came out and they were only investing in SaaS businesses. I mean, now that it's not necessarily a differentiator. I mean, that is something that's commonplace with just about any business-focused startup. And so, there's usually a SaaS component somewhere in there. Or again, if they're not starting with that, they're thinking about it for the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for explaining that so nicely, Jason. Next, we move to Vandana. Vandana, your insights on the SaaS topic. Like, what's the software as a service software company? Is it like the same the company that we had before, or it's something different? And what are the advantages and benefits of having this business model, as Jason said?
Definitely, Sunny. So let me just define what is it. It is software as a service, or SaaS, is a way of delivering applications over the internet as a service. Now, instead of installing and maintaining software, you simply access it via the internet, freeing yourself from complex software and hardware management, basically on the cloud. Now, as of 2019, this industry has a market capitalization of over $1 billion USD. And one of the most well-known examples of SaaS-based application is Netflix. So who uses SaaS? Netflix is one of the example. We all do, but I'd like to focus on using SaaS in businesses. Companies use an average of 16 SaaS apps to run their business every day. And if you've used SaaS, whether personally or professionally, you will see that SaaS is suitable for anyone. I mean, do you subscribe to a Dropbox to store your photographs online? We all do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great example of SaaS. And another example could be for work. If you're a marketer and you use email marketing platform to send emails to your customers, then you most likely use a subscription-based model. That's again SaaS. And for medium-sized organizations in particular, SaaS is primarily a hassle-free and cost-effective alternative that offers new possibilities, flexible costs, as well as easy maintenance and deployment. And the best part is that you don't need to own a super powerful computer, an in-house server, or to employ an IT expert to be able to store your business information in the cloud. And SaaS allows multiple users to get access to vast database at any time and anywhere. There is on the internet, and this is what makes it so demanding.
Right.
So, I hope I've answered your question here.
Yes, yes, very simply. You put it in a very simple words, explained it so nicely. Thank you, Vandana, for that explanation with giving
Thank
us
you.
some examples. Dropbox, we all use Dropbox, right? uh, thank you. Harsh,
Hey, so Jason and Vandana have covered a bit of it, already. I'll kind of take it to another level and, kind of explain how the origins of SaaS came about, right?
yeah,
So, as Jason pointed out, Salesforce was one of the pioneers of the model. So, historically, if you looked at it to build a custom software, most of the software had to be custom built, right? You had these big consultancies, KPMG, PwC. They would get into the tech consulting. They would custom build software for a specific use case. That software used to be, cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even $1 million, and they used to have like 5-year, 10-year contracts. That was how the custom software development would work. Extremely labor intensive. Not many companies could kind of, think about getting software for their own businesses, right? Then Salesforce kind of came up with this model where they broke it down into standardized chunks that, that these 90% of features can be used by majority of the people. They can do that. They can kind of compartmentalize that and kind of give that a fixed price that, anyone and everyone, they don't have to custom build a software right from scratch. We have this ready solution. You can simply use that, kind of, lease that from us. And that is where the origin of the SaaS industry has been, and how it is different from the conventional software companies, where the conventional software companies would charge up to millions of dollars, years of retainers, years of fixed guaranteed revenue. Only then they would kind of get into that development. In SaaS, you can get into a monthly contract or an annual contract, and you can simply, plug and play the service. That is the beauty of the SaaS model, and that's why it is so highly effective and highly successful over the last couple of years. Salesforce was a pioneer. Now WordPress has gotten in, Shopify has gotten in, Dropbox has gotten in. So many companies are doing that. It's pretty much become the norm now. And if you're not into a SaaS model, you're kind of in trouble, because that has kind of become the bread and butter of the entire software industry, right? So that is how the SaaS industry has evolved over the last 2 decades.
right, right. Nicely explained again, Harsh. Thank you so much for that insights. Next, we have Gary. Gary, your insights, please.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. You don't have the infrastructural costs with SaaS that you would have with having an in-house solution. You don't have to have the resources available. It's really
Yeah.
ready to go. And by the way, I was in the original Salesforce office when there were like 6 employees. So I saw it when it was thin client with Benahoff and when the guys came over from Oracle. So I had the pleasure of seeing something start. And at the time, people didn't believe it was real. They didn't think that, thin client now SaaS would really take off, and look what it's done. But it saves a lot of money. You get up very quickly, and it's really convenient. The downside is it's a subscription-based model, and you're paying a lot over time. But the infrastructural costs are a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way I see it, if you see, as just Gary, I just want to just put a spotlight on your last statement. Like you're paying a lot in the long time.
Well, you're paying your subscription. You're tied in over time. It's a little bit different than it used to be, as having you're going to buy this solution and you pay for it and it's done and over with and you own it. Now the situation, other issues come up. Security, right? Cloud security. Are you secure or not? But at the same time, it's like Microsoft 360. The situation is there are different ways to look at it. I mean, I personally like to have my Word and Excel on site because I may not have an internet connection and I want to work. If I'm on a plane, it's hard sometimes. So for me personally, in the personal world, it's a little bit different. But in a corporate world, it surely does save a lot of money. Remember, they used to have big data warehouses that
Yeah.
people would have. And you don't have those kind of expenses now. You don't have to have that staff involved, and you get up and running very quickly. So the good news is it is the way that the world's moving, and SaaS is here to stay, and we need to adapt accordingly. But at the same time, cybersecurity is becoming a top priority. Why? Because of all these SaaS solution and cloud breaches.
Okay, if I gather, thank you so much. It's for B2B, for enterprises, for saving them costs. And nicely explained with a Microsoft Outlook example as well. Yes, on a flight, everything goes offline. I can't use any of my apps as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, the situation is, and you don't realize what you don't have till you don't have it.
Yeah, exactly. You say, oh my God, I need Wi-Fi on my flight as well.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gary. Perfect. So let's just talk about some trends in SaaS in year 2021. I'm going to start with Jason. Jason, over to you. So what kind of trends we see?
Yeah, there's a lot of trends, and those are continuing over, I would say, from last year. But we'll call it vertical SaaS. I mean, there are specific niche industries that are very focused efforts to go after certain industries around, providing a SaaS model. I mean, that could be one. There's platform as a service, where it's a SaaS model, but you're getting, it's a whole platform like AWS or Microsoft Azure, where you're getting a whole platform, but you're still paying that monthly subscription model. There's low code or no code options, where that's becoming a big thing now, where, it helps developers and non-developers build a lot of the basic infrastructure with not having to code it all, but those are monthly subscription models. There's AI that taps into it, machine learning, everything to make these models work better. So there's just white labeling SaaS models to let people also create their own tools, or at least do what they need to do. So those are some of the main ones. I mean, we can dive deeper into some of those, but I just want to provide some high level trends that you're going to see this year. And again, those are continued on from last year as well. A lot of this was accelerated as a result of the pandemic, where for sure more people are using tools like this than they probably were before, whether it's personal or on the business side. But everything's been accelerated.
So do you specifically invest into SaaS startups?
Yeah, I mean, we've made SaaS investments, definitely. And even the prior fund I was part of, we made plenty as well. So we're B2B focused. So most of the time there's going to be a SaaS model in there, or if they don't have one right now, they're going to be thinking about it, or they should be thinking about it. So yeah, our investments so far all have a SaaS model.
Right. I'm going to come back to that more into discussing about the current, investments that you've done in recent times. After I just take another round with all the speakers. Thank you so much, Jason, for that. Vandana, again, over to you, please. The trends for 2021.
Yeah, definitely. There is artificial intelligence, machine learning, centralized analytics, vertical SaaS, whereas horizontal SaaS focuses on clients across any sector and industry. Vertical SaaS is completely customizable, targeting clients within specific industries and supply chains. Some examples are healthcare analytics software, retail analytics, or modern logistics, analytics.
Yeah.
The growing need for API connections. The API application programming interface has been a fundamental part of software development for years. And this is precisely what our fifth, SaaS trend focuses on. With the explosion of SaaS solutions and adoption by the market, the need to integrate them into an existing business system, appeared. Some companies may want to migrate all their data to a cloud platform, but many actually would rather harmonize it, with their already existing infrastructure in order to improve it. And this is where the problem lies. API connections may help to fix the problem. White label SaaS, essentially SaaS white labeling is a process where software-based business creates a fully developed tested and finalized platform and then sells it to another company so that they can customize and sell it under their own branding. It can also be a part of embedded B tools where companies integrate a solution within their own applications. Then enhanced, mobile optimization and low code capabilities. The SaaS business model has been making a lot of traction over the last few years. Stratospheric success of many companies built around SaaS like Dropbox, Slack, and seemingly effortless disruption of the existing market landscapes. They managed to achieve, made this model extremely attractive for entrepreneurs from a variety of industries. Even businesses that have long successful history of using other models are experimenting with SaaS. For example, let's take Adobe Photoshop. It was distributed as a product over 20 years, but it changed its licensing scheme to SaaS in 2013, although it hardly seemed possible just a couple of years before that. However, behind all the highly public examples of successes like Canva or Figma, there are dozens of obscure startups that never took off, just failed at what they did, usually at the early stages of their existence. And no excessive competition is often not the culprit. The reasons typically lie with the startups themselves, and most of them encounter more or less the same sets of challenges, but not all turned out to be prepared for them. So I think these are the different trends in SaaS.
Great that you touched upon failures as well. We'd like to know more about it after we take a second round of questions.
Yeah.
Great points, Vandana, with touching base on Adobe as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. Harsh, over to you, please.
Hi. So definitely, in the biggest trend that we've seen, especially post COVID, is the focus on how the workforce is being managed, how you're kind of increasing employee productivity, how are you managing your employees, and the tool that we are in right now, StreamYard. Video conferencing has gone through the roof. Employee management, workplace management, all those kind of tools have gone through huge benefits out of the SaaS space. In fact, Zoom is right now the most valued SaaS company with a 70x of their revenues as their market cap. So it is absolutely amazing what the shift has done. Prior to that, Zoom wasn't that popular, and suddenly it's become the go-to tool in this space. So the biggest trend has obviously been in terms of trying to ensure how people can communicate with them more easily, how you can manage your employees properly, how you can coordinate the projects easily, right? So there have been a lot of tools like for project management, like Trello is there, Slack is there. They are kind of taking, there people are starting to use them a lot. There are a lot of low-cost versions of these tools as well. A lot of project management softwares have come up, which are kind of taking it to the next level. Additionally, the biggest beneficiary of SaaS has been the marketing tech space, right? If you look at it, essentially Salesforce and Amazon, they have kind of taught the world essentially how marketing works. So in every new feature that you see on Amazon, you now have a SaaS company kind of creating that feature. And even if you have a small single brand store doing fairly like a few $1 million of sales, you can learn from Amazon and put that software in your business. Amazon was the first guy who kind of created the upsell and cross sell as an option for e-commerce purchases. Now you have SaaS tools who can do that. Then they bought those timers over there. Now you have SaaS tools which can do that for your company. Previously it was unimaginable for a small local shop owner who does like a few $1 million of sales to kind of do these kind of solutions on their website. Now it's become extremely easy and everyone can do that. Marketing team, so marketing tech has kind of completely gone through the roof, and the amount of investments that they're getting is absolutely phenomenal. So the biggest example I would like to give is ClickFunnels, which is like a $300 million revenue company. You have Group Pages, which is doing phenomenally well. Lead Pages is there, which is doing phenomenally well. HubSpot is like a $10 billion company. So a lot of these, marketing tech companies have truly, gone at the next level. Additionally, an interesting change which I have seen is, I think I'd mentioned about this as well in my past, one of the startups which I'm working with, it's in the automotive tech space. Essentially, helping garages to come online, have their own CRM where they can manage their entire business through the garage management software, right? So in India, particularly, this trend has been there, where we are trying to digitize the small business owners, where they can have their own digital presence they can manage their own stores through the SaaS platform. So that has been the biggest shift. And earlier, so there have been clear examples where I've spoken to other investors. Similar startups have come in the past 2-3 years back, and they failed because they could not manage to convince retail shops and those owners to kind of get this SaaS solution. And suddenly now everyone wants this because they realize if they don't have these kind of SaaS solutions in place, they're going to lose business. So that has been a huge paradigm shift as well, mindset shift as well from a lot of these small businesses.
Okay. Thank you, Harsh. So it's time for all of us to little wake up. Gary, are you okay? So what number? What's the number of? I'm forgetting English. Sorry. How many webinars have you spoken so far today?
How many?
How many?
It's only the second one.
This is the second one. So did you have a late night yesterday or something? Were you working like me? You all
No. We have a issue that we're working on with one of our clients. So I'm looking at my phone because we were texting back and forth. We have a issue that needs to be resolved.
I know what it feels like.
Yeah. So when I'm looking down, I don't like I'm sleeping. I'm looking at my phone.
Where is your dog today? Where is she?
What's that?
Your dog.
She's in the other room. She's sleeping. I had to take her out already.
Sunshine.
Yep. Sunshine's sunny.
Sunny for sure. Yeah, I can't forget. That's the thing. I can't forget her. You know why?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Okay, great. Could you have a little sort of break from the normal to just break the monotony? Gary,
can I? I want to say some things. So, we need to really look at the cybersecurity. Is going to be with all the SaaS applications. Cloud breaches are really important, and with COVID-19, the pandemic, many businesses were transferred to the cloud because they had to. And so we haven't really spent enough time on that. And then you look at 5G and what the transition to 5G really across the board, smart cities, defense facilities, power grids, a lot of exposure. So we've got to focus on, for 2021, if we look at it, cybersecurity is going to become a top priority. And then AI, right? The rise of AI, sometimes we use it lightly, but with the amount of data, if we talked about many times, artificial intelligence is going to be really across the board. McKinsey did a study recently that said that 50% of the companies are going to be adapting AI in one way, shape, or form by the end of 2021. So big opportunity for those startups that are out there, big opportunity for investors.
Right. Exactly. As Gary rightly said, big opportunities in the space. Thank you, Gary. Okay, I'm going to touch base on the size of the market and the growth in the space of SaaS startups. I'm going to start with Jason. Jason, so what can you share with the audience today about the size of the market and the growth potential in the space, both from a startup perspective and from investment perspective as well?
Yeah, so I've seen different numbers. So some numbers I've seen is 2020, the size of the market was 104.7 billion. That's growing to 143.7 billion by 2020 globally. Then there's sectors or verticals within those numbers. So again, depends on what report you look at, but we know it's over 100 billion most likely. It's a large market and it continues to grow. And so in terms of and that's the overall size of just, I believe, revenue generated. So investment, I don't have a specific dollar amount on investments, but it's a lot of the B2B investment out there is going towards SaaS businesses. So we have to look deeper into those numbers, but it's definitely in the billions. Of course, again, it's probably tens of billions at this point. So it's large.
And it's going to grow further, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And as I mentioned, certain sectors are growing more than others. Like healthcare is one that there's a digital healthcare. There's generally a SaaS model for many of those businesses, so that's continuing to accelerate. Ed tech, is another one it's really big. So there's just, fintech. I mean, all those sectors that are growing as a result of the pandemic are also, for the most part, SaaS models as well. So there's a huge acceleration with all these industries.
Oh, okay. So I was just discussing before we went live that you obviously have invested into some of these startups in the space. Could you share, maybe without taking names, if you can't take names, like these startups, and when did you invest, and what was the compelling reason behind investing?
Yeah, I'm happy to mention names. I mean, one of ours in particular called Square Stack, and Gary alluded to this earlier. We made the investment late last year. They started doing this business before the pandemic, but the pandemic's accelerated. They are a single sign-on for small businesses to manage their business apps. So as Gary mentioned, during this pandemic, small businesses and other businesses accelerated their use and adoption of online business tools. Well, this company particularly fits well right in that the trend or the acceleration. So these businesses historically have not had many business apps or don't understand it. These are more of the mom and pops of smaller businesses, and they now provide one single sign-on. There's a dashboard, so you can actually see the visibility across all these apps around the business, so you know how they're interacting with your business. And they've partnered with associations to target the small business owners, and so, which is a smart business model, and they get access to millions of business owners as a result of it. So, so they're just getting started, but the fact is the acceleration of all this stuff has really worked well. We invested in another company called Supply Hive, which is focused on supply chain. It's procurement technology, but focused on supply chain to create more transparency than with suppliers and large companies. And so they've got big Fortune 1000 companies as clients, and it allows them to mitigate some of their risk with their suppliers. So there's a full transparency, 360 transparency, so they know exactly how their suppliers are doing with these companies. And then we did another one in the virtual event space called Gamer Jibe. So it's in the future workspace, but specifically virtual events where they host fully immersive experiences with an avatar. It's a browser-based. You walk around with an avatar, meeting people one-on-one in small group discussions. And personally, I run the Founder Institute in Chicago, and Harsh, I know you run the Mumbai chapter. We've been doing Founder Night Outs events since April of last year. These are virtual events for entrepreneurs and investors. So it's been a year now since we've been doing these events, and they happen to be a Founder Institute grad company as well. But the fact is, this is a fully immersive experience and very different than what we're experiencing right now. Now you can stream StreamYard within the environment to do live discussions, but it's been pretty interesting platform. So we're excited. We're looking at others. Fintech is an area we're interested in as well. I mean, we're looking at fintech company now as well as a health tech company, and these all have SaaS models. So we're excited to keep on building the portfolio.
Yeah, StreamYard. So how old are these companies? I mean, are they early stage startups or? Yeah,
we did pre-seed and seed. I mean, they're all a couple years old, 2 to 3 years old, let's say. I mean, they were building it quietly before we came in. They were bootstrapping it. They had friends and family, some angel money. We were the first professional investor, first VC into 2 of the deals. We'll invest alongside angels or angel groups, and we co-led one of the deals. So, but they had all been building it for at least 2 years, if not 3 years before we came in, because they, were building it out, testing the market, making sure they had something. And then they decided to look for professional money or beyond friends and family. That's when we came in.
Right. Jason, I just have one last question, because very coincidentally, I got a message this morning about similar platform into events with all those stuff that you just mentioned, the avatar. I've seen, I saw the demo because the person sent me a screen capture as well to see that. So how these startups, I mean, obviously I've seen many players in the events, because with the events, all the conferences, physical conferences not happening for another few years maybe. So everybody is moving online. So how quickly can they grow in this crowded market? Because this space is becoming crowded, as far as I can see. And why would you? What was the differentiating factor for you to invest into this particular startup? I'm sure you must have seen quite a few in the same space. And what was so different about the startup?
Yeah, so first of all, there was a relationship there. I had known this founder since 2018 and saw the evolution of the business. They actually changed their business model in 2019 to do event-based, fully immersive experiences. So this is before the pandemic even hit us. So it was just timing was perfect.
Right.
And we've been doing these events for a year now, and I've seen the evolution of the software and what they can do with the events. And so I personally believe that this is here to stay. I mean, there will be a hybrid going forward. I mean, people will do both, but the option is there. The costs are a lot less for businesses. Don't have to travel to do conferences, to do meetings all the time. It's a different experience. We're doing more online in this one event than we could have done in person. We're doing more interaction, and yeah, there's a lot of competition, of course, and Hopin is an example of what's happening in the market. Hopin's doing on an acquisition spree. They bought StreamYard for over $200 million. They bought a couple other companies. So consolidation is happening. And so I believe GamerDrive is well positioned in the market for their solution. It's something different than almost every other solution. Most solutions are a 2D solution. It's an enhancement of what we're doing right now, where you'll have an environment where you walk around in, but it's still a screen like this to see each other. So yeah, there are other companies that have some avatar based experiences, but they're also very focused on certain industries right now. As they've done a lot of startup events, they've done crypto events, and so they did the North America's largest Ethereum conference on their platform.
Wow.
And so they've done recruiting events for the U.S. military. So they've done a lot of different things, and yeah, they're still in growth mode, but it's early stage for most companies we invest in. But I do see the growth, that they're going to explode. And yeah, I mean, when we get back to normal, we're still going to do in-person events, but this is just another option for people. So I believe they're going to continue to grow, and there's just there will be consolidation either way, though.
Thank you for sharing. Very explaining the whole entire process. The reason I asked, thank you, because I just saw a email from somebody, and I really clicked on that screen share. I could see, exchange your name cards, literally every attendee. You can just click on their name card, business card, and exchange with your card. That's something sort of stood by for me. So yeah, thank you so much, Jason, for sharing that. And thank you so much. Okay, next I'm going to come to Gary. Gary. So yes, no, just
I'm okay.
Okay, just
Why
making
did you ask me if I'm okay? By the way, I'm very curious.
Sorry.
Why did you ask if I'm okay?
Oh no, I was just probably I was thinking you're busy looking.
No. What happened is one of my customers is running out. One of our companies is running out of money, and so the CEO just sent me a note, and so he's, it was one of those urgent kind of things. So what can I say? A startup shit happens.
Obviously, so that's why I want to cheer you up a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not feeling down. No, you don't understand. I solve problems. I've been doing this for 34 years, so it's not the first time.
All right, cool, good to know.
I ran around the block a few times. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
So
you can have multiple webinar solution as long as you have solid differentiation. What was that? Harsh, random. But anyways, I thought you were replying to Gary.
He was putting it out to the universe.
Well, just adding on what Jason was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
What question did you have for me now, Setting?
So yeah, I mean, as Jason just explained some of his startups that he invested recently, and one of them was Event Company, and how is it picked up from a seed stage to growth stage now. Just wanted to know.
Even my company, right? My company is a SaaS solution. It's a unicorn that we started 5 years ago, People said 3 years ago when we pivoted, why in the world would you be focused on remote workers?
Yeah.
Because we were lucky.
Got
I
it.
don't know what to say. But I mean, if we look at it today with the democratization of opportunity, what SaaS solution does is it really democratizes opportunities around the world. It makes a whole lot easier for people to adapt the technologies to be able to use them in their businesses. And it's really important as we move forward with these artificial intelligence solutions that are coming out to be able to analyze that data and to be able to course correct businesses instantly, to be able to make the right decisions at the right time at the right place. So today it's a lot, especially with the digital transformation upon us, right? We've been forced to be online, and in a good way, it's really helped us propel forward in terms of our businesses. So in terms of, what I think it is, it is what it is. SaaS is going to be around, but as I said, we're looking at cybersecurity solutions to be able to help us because we haven't really thought out, the bad actors that are out there, the bad characters, are really curious. And the more data that's out there, the more they want to hack. And so we need to make sure we're protected. So things like cybersecurity solutions that are decentralized to be able to prevent those type of attacks are going to step. You're going to see more and more and more of those. So that's it. We just need to focus on that. We're very interested in cybersecurity solutions. One of our companies is SplitByte. SplitByte is a decentralized cybersecurity solution. And so we're excited about those kind of technologies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Now, Harsh, would you like to explain what you just shared?
I was curious too. I was going to say, Harsh, this is really cool. What is it?
After the Gary's why and smiley, next comes Harsh.
Apologies for kind of changing the tone of the entire discussion.
Don't worry. Okay. Having good fun.
Cool. So I was just kind of, building on what Jason was mentioning, right? So even though you have like multiple webinar solutions, the idea is to how do we differentiate, right? So just last year, there was this one startup which I was raising funds for. The essential idea was they were doing the same webinar solution, but the advantage was it was completely white labeled with custom flows, right? So what happens essentially with Zoho, with StreamYard, which we are using right now, or with Zoom, it is a standard flow. You simply have to follow the flow, right? Imagine if you can have your Latoken's own webinar solution where you can customize the flow based on whatever that you want. You can customize the number of streaming participants that you want. You can structure it the way that you want. You can have some banners at the top, at the side, completely customize it as everything that you want. That is the kind of innovation, that the company was working for. And was absolutely phenomenal, the kind of solutions they were operating in. So even the idea is even within the webinar solution, there are lots of customization and a lot of differentiation which can be done. And that is exactly the beauty of the SaaS model, right? There is no one size fits all. The more customization, more creativity that you do. For example, Gary mentioned, right? He was doing the remote working HR. It's something which was completely unheard of. Just last year, there was a Singapore-based company who reached out to me for raising funds. They had their own niche, primarily focusing on blue-collar laborers to kind of have an HR solution for managing them. Something really different, right? So this is the beauty of the SaaS model. You can literally do anything that you want. Another good example would be AirMeet. I'm not sure if any of you have used AirMeet before. The kind of events platform which they have and the kind of facilities that they have, the breakout rooms that they have, and the UI is absolutely beautiful.
What's it called, Harsh?
AirMeet. Yeah.
Oh yes,
AirMeet.
It's very popular. AirMeet. It's very
I've
Indian.
used it. Yeah.
I got it.
Very Indian, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've used
absolutely.
it.
I know the founders as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they're Indian founders only, and the product is so beautiful. And the first time I saw it, and I was like, why are people using Zoom? Zoom is so ancient. This is so modern, so fresh. So just come up with something unique, and you'll people like Jason, Gary, Vandana, myself will be happy to help you out. The idea is that is the beauty of the SaaS model, and that is why SaaS has been so growing so phenomenally well. That you can come up with so many uniqueness, so many customization, so many dynamic things which are required, and it just takes the industry forward and forward.
So that makes SaaS unique. Thank you so much, Harsh, for sharing those insights.
Harsh, I gotta tell you. So AirMeet makes things fresh. That should be their tagline.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Fresh air.
Oh, air.
Interesting.
Interesting. But AirMeet, has it taken off? Like, is it like global as Zoom? Because it's very Indian user centric.
No. So they do have global users, but they are still relatively early. So it's barely 3 year old. It's not very old right now.
Ah, okay. I've used it. Yes, Vandana, you're correct. We were on one of the webinars on AirMeet together. So coming over to, thank you, Harsh, and coming over to Vandana with the same question.
Sunny, if you see, we have a lot of apps on our phone. When COVID came in, we were skeptical to use Zoom. Then AirMeet came in, then Stream came in. I think we need to be more proactive and understand the technology. It keeps changing, and we also have to keep, learning these technologies. I think it's really, really important. But now coming to the point, I would like to cover up, why is it so popular? Because it brings simplification, access, and affordability together, so that the businesses can now, have access to complicated software and IT infrastructure components, and at lower cost. And it is for this reason that today even the large scale enterprises like SAP, Oracle are adopting the SaaS model, if you know about it. SaaS applications for business are getting popular these days, and the main reasons are it enables these businesses to experience a significant drop in their costs. With SaaS, you're investing in business infrastructure or software that does not demand any initial upfront management costs on the whole. And you're not required to get licensed software or support instances, of your software or infrastructure. You're not required to pay for the hardware that hosts the applications. And no arduous installation processes, no wastage of money or management time. All are managed by the vendors on your behalf, while you take the benefits of the service. And no delays with SaaS applications. With traditional setups, businesses are required to buy hardware and software for their functioning requirements, and had to wait for the complete infrastructural setup. But with SaaS-based applications, the setup time drops from weeks to months, or just few hours, or days. Here, hardware or software setup is not required, and it's just about renting. So hence, no more delays, and it is easy to adapt with changes and demands. So compared to the traditional on-premise solution, it's easy scaling a SaaS-based solution. Not only scaling it up, but it also makes scaling down easier for the retailers who require added resources to meet the peak workloads at few times of the year. And in such case, planning and investing in traditional software to meet workloads for just a short span of time can prove to be costlier for the retailers.
Right.
Hence, the SaaS model is better fit option for scalability requirements. And apart from scalability, SaaS provides, worthy to meet the changing requirements of businesses. With upgrading software and increasing competition, businesses require to upgrade their systems with regular software and hardware upgrades, as compared to the traditional model where the users are required to buy the new software or hardware for changing requirements. And SaaS models allows for changing up the latest subscription, and that's it. We just have to, when our subscription ends in Netflix or anything else, we just have to, just pay some more and then get another subscription. And then there is unrestricted access. So SaaS software applications are hosted on the cloud and can be easily accessed from anywhere over the internet through mobile devices. Hence, a business person can access their critical business information from anywhere, and can, easily work around even away from the workplace. Hence, no longer interruption in your business tasks due to traveling or moving around. So I think it's, a good trend that is coming in. You could also see, Alexa is AI based, and how much help it gives us all the time. You just have to command it, and It's always, helps us. I even read some books, with the help of Alexa. So all these applications are really helpful. I order my groceries online. So I think we should look at more startups in this space, and I see more and more coming up. Uh, in fact, I'm planning to launch my own app as well of
Wow.
Convanto, which will have a lot of subscription-based stuff.
Wow, that's incredible news, Vandana, and congratulations for that. So what exactly is going to have? Can we have a little teaser of that before?
It will have a lot of things, about pitch deck making, about valuations, financial models, where you need to reach if you need equity investments. So it will have everything on one platform. And users can use it easily. So all my thing, because my data is so much that I need to now make it into an app and let people subscribe to it. So I think this is what's going to happen. Just like everybody is watching Netflix, they would watch Convanto for latest updates on many things.
I hope it's available on both Android and iOS.
Yes, both on Android and iOS.
Okay, great. I'll subscribe to it first. Thank you, Vandana, and congratulations. Okay, we've spoken about all the good points about SaaS as a business model, and so what are the challenges in this particular business model, and what are the challenges faced by startups who are selling SaaS software? Jason, let's start with you before we wrap up quickly.
Yeah, interesting question. I think one thing Gary alluded to earlier is you don't necessarily own the software anymore as a consumer or a user. So you're stuck in a monthly payment cycle, which can be quite expensive over time. So it's a paradigm shift for some people. It took Microsoft a long time to finally get their product on the cloud. Partly, I think, because they felt they're going to cannibalize their existing business. So that you've got to disrupt your business model if you're going to, I believe, succeed and excel. So for some businesses, if they already have a traditional download software, to change to a SaaS model, it may be challenging for them. It's going to take them a long time. If you're starting from the beginning, a little bit different story. But again, some people may not want to pay a monthly amount and just want to, and as I said, it gets expensive over time. But so those are two big things that I see on the company side and the the consumer user side, and even most investors are going to want to see that if it's a business focused software, that you have some type of recurring revenue model. If you don't have that, it's going to be harder, I believe, to get more investors interested, because having that recurring revenue, there's a predictability with your revenue. Your cost of acquisition is a lot lower. And so those are positives, but many businesses don't have those pieces, or they haven't thought through those a lot. So that's pretty important to be thinking about and considering as you're, especially if you're raising money, but also just for the growth of your business in general.
Yeah, I think great points there. Recurring revenue, obviously over a time, can be seen as expensive item, especially if it's B2C, I would say.
Yeah.
Besides cybersecurity as well, which Gary just mentioned. Obviously, security issues over the internet can cover many sectors as well, and SaaS businesses. Thank you so much, Jason, for that. Harsh, what do you want to share about the challenges?
Got it. So there are multiple challenges, right? So from the user point of view, so if I'm a business owner and I'm using any other software for my businesses, the biggest challenge for me would be the data control, right? Essentially, the control of the data is with the SaaS provider. They have the control of the data, and even they don't have the control is with the hosting provider. So whether it be AWS or Microsoft or Google or whoever might be the case, your data is stored in their server. God forbid something happens over there and you lose control of your data. And a lot of times there tend to be a lot of geopolitical issues about storage of the data as well. So for example, if you're in China, you have to ensure that the servers are in China only. Likewise, even in India, if you are operating out of India, it's important that the servers are based out of India only, so that the data is localized. So a lot of those kind of geopolitical complications are there for the end users when you're using to SaaS services. And the point regarding security has already been highlighted by Gary. Jacob mentioned the point regarding the monthly bills kind of adding up. As a SaaS company, the biggest challenge for SaaS company is dropouts. So what tends to happen is because of these monthly recurring subscriptions, or annual subscriptions, whatever might be the case, you tend to have a lot of dropouts. People who are joining in subscription, they might drop out 3 months back, 6 months later, or a year later. So you're constantly on the rush to find new customers, because if you
Right.
don't have that, if assuming you have a few thousand, 5,000, 10,000 customers, if you don't have new customers on a monthly basis, within 2 to 3 years, you could completely out of business, because you'll end up losing all of your customers. So that is a huge challenge. And even building a SaaS product to begin with tends to be pretty expensive. So getting that early investment, that $500,000, $1 million, just to build that prototype so that you can get the business running. Because what happens is in the initial stage you won't be getting that revenue, but you still have to put in a lot of money with the vision in the product, so that down the line you do end up making money, right? So these are some of the challenges as a SaaS founder, that you have to work on the constant subscription rate, as well as the initial upfront investment is required even to build the product to begin with.
I think totally correctly you mentioned. One is the server where, I mean, hosted, like the cloud providers like Amazon, Google, and the names of it, as well as security aspects comes into space. And I think starting a business in SaaS is I think can be expensive, like you said, and also losing customers halfway through if the product doesn't go to the masses. Thank you,
Exactly.
Harsh. Yeah, great points. Gary?
Yeah, so we've covered a lot of the challenges, but let's talk about the opportunities. So
Okay.
the opportunities that are out there are really unlimited. So it doesn't matter. You can reach anybody anywhere in terms of, I could have a application, I could have a SaaS solution that I've developed in India being able to be distributed all over the world. So that's really where the beauty of it is. And, investors love it because you have a recurring revenue model. And it's really, really hard if you've got a solution, a software in-house solution today to try to sell it. It's just really hard to convince investors to buy into it. So you've got an uphill battle. It is the way it's going to be with the amount of data on the planet. The amount of data is 40 zettabytes and growing. We need to have these kind of solutions and really democratize the opportunities so that everybody has equal access to the data and can make their business decision based on that. So SaaS is really levels the playing field, and we're extremely excited. I mean, I've been excited since the time that I was in Salesforce's original office. And they were talking about it. Imagine right there with Mark Benehoff and the team listening to the stories about how they're going to change the world. At the time, it was the thin client. So, I've been through a lot of these iterations. The situation is, we see now with the digital transformation, we've been forced into SaaS models. We've been forced to do things online. StreamYard was developed in 2018 in Vancouver. So Zoom was 6 years ago. I was one of the early users of Zoom. Look how much it's changed. Now the situation is the companies that are out there from around the world need to embrace it and understand how to use these technologies to better get the visibility, to better get to their customers, to build these recurring revenue models, to be able to build global success. It's just the way it's going to be. I needed to buy off onto it. They need to understand how to optimize them, how to use them, and how to really use them as a tool for success.
Great. Thank you so much, Gary. And thank you, Harsh and Jason and Vandana. Obviously, we crossed the challenges as well as the benefits, which outweighs the challenges, of course, clearly, very clearly. So, Vandana, let's take some closing remarks from you before we wrap up the show. How was it, and what's your closing remarks?
Yeah, definitely we need to stay positive, and this technology, SaaS-based applications, we will see a lot many coming. The greatest advantage is that you can pay a subscription anywhere, wherever you are in the world. And I feel that if people don't know that I exist, then they might not subscribe to my platform. But if you see Netflix, everybody knows that it exists, but there are many other platforms like Netflix that are not being used because people don't know that that they exist. So I think there is a bit of failure, but we need to market ourselves in the right manner. And thank you for having me here over and over again. It's a happy family time, and it's a great work that Latokan TV is doing along with yourself to bring people from all parts of the world. It's a great therapy sessions during lockdown, and it's for like-minded people. So I always enjoy my sessions here.
Awesome. Thank you, Vandana. I think Gary, something got to say?
I was going to say, I'm a psychologist. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? How does it make you feel?
I know.
No, it is good because, I hear from people all over the world, Sonny, every single day about when we're on VCTV and we're bringing hope and optimism and those kind of things. And during these trying times, it's critically important to be able to help people overcome. The glass is half full and not half empty. And a lot of people around the world, are looking for hope. And one of the things we do, especially in the technical community, is give them hope and understand there are possibilities and you can still succeed. So that's really the beauty of it. It's like a shining light on a dark day.
Oh,
Yeah, so I would like to add to this. So the thing is that in these times everybody feels boxed in, and people who are so used to working, like speakers like us, and we just like to speak out the knowledge that we have. And that's why it's a therapy session, because if we also don't speak it out, I think we would just go crazy, because there's so much to speak on each topic, and it gives a lot of value add to the viewers over here, and hence it's a therapy session. That's what I meant.
Absolutely. Because Vandana, you're sharing and I'm learning. And thank you for that.
Yeah. And I learned from Gary, I learned from Harsh, I've learned from Jason. So it's not that it's just me. I mean, I learned from everybody over here, including you. I mean, there's lots to learn.
Absolutely. We learn from each other. That's how we grow every day. Thank you so much, Vandana. Jason, you come here for the first time on VCTV Singapore. I hope to see you back on Asia. I don't know, it's a little early for you, but still I'd like to have you back. What was your experience and closing remarks?
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, you got my day started earlier, but that's fine. It was enjoyable being here, a different audience. Gary and I have been on a number together, but haven't been with the rest of you. So great to meet new people. Yeah, I enjoy these conversations. It's, I always learn something as well, and, can hopefully share something that I've learned along the way as an investor. And, I believe SaaS is continuing to accelerate. It's not going anywhere. It's been here for a long time now. So if you're building a company with an online software, especially in the B2B space, you've got to consider a SaaS model. You have to have this part of your business model, especially if you're looking to raise money, because investors are going to expect it. And so every sector is going to be impacted by SaaS if it already hasn't. So it's only going to continue to accelerate. So keep an eye out for it.
Sure. And we'd love to have you back on forthcoming episodes of VCTV.
Happy to come back. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Jason. Harsh, your closing remarks.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Glad to be back here as always. To have my global family, as I call it, right? With Gary, Vandana, yourself, Jason. Meeting him for the first time over here on Singapore as well. So great to be back. And SaaS is definitely an amazing opportunity. Investors across the world are bullish, and it comes down to your creativity, right? The essence of SaaS is the unique business model which is there, and it is applicable across sectors. And we are, seeing the different applications of that, whether it be platform as a service, PC as a service. Lots of other industries are now following SaaS models. So essentially, a lot of innovation can still take place. It only comes down to who's the first mover. So, to kind of drive that first innovation.
Excellent. Thank you, Harsh, for those closing remarks as well. Thank you, speakers. And coming over to the viewers of VCTV. Thank you for tuning in to VCTV and watching the show today with lots of love and messages sending our way. And we love to send those love back to you for being with us all the time. I'll be back again tomorrow with another topic, with another set of speakers. Till then, keep watching VCTV. Take care of yourself. I'm going to see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. All.
Bye.
Bye.